because we're so focused on what men are doing wrong, that's what we're focused on. And what you feed grows.
I've grown with women through this way. Like, I always put their word over mine until recently. It's just the word that comes up for me is it's so fucking confusing sometimes, because we want these qualities in a woman that it's like I want a woman that has her own life and it's not relying on me.
How many of us are fluent in women and can make the distinction between the feminine and women?
Masculinity is not toxic. Masculinity is medicine. Welcome to the Remasculation Podcast. This show is dedicated to the exploration, celebration, and pursuit of healthy masculinity in the modern world, with a view towards helping end the battle of the sexes and bringing men and women back together by turning the battlefield of the culture wars into a garden once again. I'm your host, Michael Bates, and my mission is to ignite and accelerate the evolution of men everywhere across this planet in our lifetime in service of something greater, our shared humanity. Welcome.
Welcome to this away game version of the Remasculation Podcast, where we talk about men and what it means to celebrate, honor, and acknowledge men in an era where the focus has been largely on what men are doing wrong, not as a means to one-up our feminine sisters, but rather to help in the battle of the sexes and bring men and women back together, turning that battlefield into a garden once again. I'm joined here, or rather I'm joining on your home court advantage here, this beautiful space, Ulrich. And I'd like to actually request you to say your full name so they can hear the poetry of your nom de plume.
Should I say it the American way or the German way?
Both.
Okay. The way that I say it is Ulrich Gunther von Dran IV.
Sure.
The way my wife corrects me to say it is Ulrich Gunther von Dran IV, I believe. So, yeah.
I'm going to fiercely grip Mjolnir here.
I'm not a bear.
My Thor. No, not at all. Just the Thor's hammer and Thunar, as the Germanic tribes called Thor. Yeah, a beautiful nod to your lineage, and I also have Germanic and Northern European blood as well. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing to jump into today. I think what feels resonant to riff on here is this theme of, as I see it, the last 60 to 70 years, both men and women have been taught that men are the problem. And there's something really beautiful in that, in the sense of what it has forced us as a culture and as a people to examine the shadows of men, the shadows of the masculine, the shadows of masculinity. But as you guys experienced at Sacred Union here in Austin, our first one in Austin in January, all the men and women that came, we asked you guys to share what you're struggling with. What were your struggles with men and women? What are the challenges that you were encountering in relationship? We took all of your answers and we put them into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT spat out two sentences. The first being, women don't trust men, period, and men don't trust men, comma, or themselves. And herein lies the problem, because as I see it, in our necessary and healthy examination of the shadows of masculinity and the things that have been termed as toxic and patriarchal, which I don't agree with. I know what those terms are pointing to, but I think they actually, speaking from my own experience, I internalized those as a young man and created a very harmful syllogism within myself. If men are toxic and I am a man, ergo, I must be toxic. And so the unintended consequences of some of these very necessary tenets of feminism and what has emerged that has created the current milieu that we're sitting in, where men don't trust men or themselves. And if we don't trust ourselves, how can our women trust us? If our women don't trust us, how can we trust men? And if we're a man, how do we trust ourselves? How do we not trust ourselves? How do we...
Yes.
So, my friends, how do we solve this problem? I'm trusting it to you to present the solution for all of our listeners.
Yeah, feel the weight of the world. I feel like if I knew the answer to this question, I wouldn't have this issue. So,
dude, I think you just said it. You feel the weight of the world.
Yeah.
I think that's what we men feel. We feel the weight of the world on our shoulders. It's like Atlas in shadow, or maybe that's just Atlas. It's like the thing that we know we need to do to carry that weight. But women have been telling us that they don't need us for 60 years. They don't need us to carry the weight. They don't need us. What is that old hippie or feminist saying? A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle.
Oh, I was going to say the way that we say it nowadays is she's an independent woman. She don't need no man.
Yeah. I really want to just re-emphasize here. We are not here to bash our sisters. This is us. This is our journey. And I understand where those sentiments come from. They came from a very good place. And now I think we need to start to examine these in a different way and recognize that women actually do need men because men need women. And if women are suffering, men are suffering. And if men are suffering, women are suffering. And there's no way out of this but by and through each other. And the culture war and the battle of the sexes is pulling us apart. And we're not relating well right now.
My heart's beating so fast right now with regards to this subject because there's so much of my own experience that has been so attracted to a woman that is so independent.
Of course.
And I always said a real player gets chose. By that, I was taught on a music video by a pimp. He said, you never chase a woman. And that played perfectly to my insecurity of wanting to chase a woman. So I really took that to heart. I don't think he knows how much that impacted me, but it's so attractive to have an independent woman, and it's so confusing to find a balance. Because for me, I put it all on the woman. Like, I've always attracted a strong woman that knows what she wants, gets what she wants, and I just followed that. And I've grown with women through this way. Like, I always put their word over mine until recently. And it's just the word that comes up for me is it's so fucking confusing sometimes because we want these qualities in a woman that it's like I want a woman that has her own life and it's not relying on me. And I feel like I do have the perfect balance now in my marriage, but there's still so much to be said about the balance between the dynamic, because do I just do it all myself now? I'm in a marriage. I'm responsible. Am I the one that's supposed to be the woman that I've been looking for? And just make sure that she doesn't have to do anything. Like, I'm all ears in regards to this, and I get kind of fired up about it a little bit because I love this conversation and I love what it's pointing to, but there's so much that we know what we're supposed to do, but it always comes back to the how. How can we balance the relationship between a man and a woman? It's just...
Do you know where I think we can start?
Yeah, man, it's a big conversation.
It is a big conversation. There's this idea that the masculine leads, but her frequency goes first. And I was just in Iowa last weekend leading a women's retreat. I'll say that again. I was in Iowa last weekend, co-leading technically. I was co-leading a women's retreat. 2 amazing women on stage with me, and me in the middle, leading a room full of women. One of these parts does not belong, right? Like, what is a man doing leading women or presuming to lead women or being in that space? What I see is that a lot of women are ready because girls mature faster than boys. And so there are a lot of women that are ready to do this work, or there are a lot of goddess circles or sister circles or all these things that are sort of centered on feminine empowerment. But the thing that we're starting to wake up to is that a lot of the entrenched pedagogy, let's say, of the goddess movement and the New Age spirituality and the hippies and feminism is, again, fixating on what men are doing wrong. And because we're so focused on what men are doing wrong, that's what we're focused on. And what you feed grows, and energy flows where attention goes.
Yep.
And for us men, it's so easy to overlook it because we seem like these big, strong beings. But when we are literally denied our food source, literally denied the acknowledgement, the honoring, and the recognition of what we are doing right, what we are bringing to the world, what we are about, the value that is inherent in us, that has largely been taken away by a lot of these ideologies and these ideas that, well, if we don't need men or women can do what men do, what do men do?
Exactly.
And it's wild because I get a lot of, the flack that I get is so confusing to me because it's like, oh, boo-hoo for you men. Oh no, now you know how we've felt for all these years. And it's like, yeah, I hear you, sister. But you're talking about your boyfriend. You're talking about your son. You're talking about your father, your brother, your husband. It's the most popular trope that I hear from women in the goddess community, or the conscious, I'm putting it in air quotes because it's not as conscious as it wants to think it is, the conscious community. I'm ready for a conscious man. I'm ready for a powerful man. Okay, sister, are you treating men consciously? Are you treating men powerfully? Are you helping us see the parts of ourselves that we can't yet see? And yeah, I get that it's annoying sometimes when maybe we don't take out the trash, but what does it provide to you for us to take out the trash? What does it give to you? How do you inspire us and let us be your hero? Not that you can't take out your own bloody trash. Of course you can. It's not about that anymore. And so you and I grew up in a similar milieu where so much of why it's in a way taken me to the age that I am now to be brave enough to talk about these things is because I was so afraid of offending. I was so afraid of the blowback. I was afraid of the cancellation that could potentially happen. And I hadn't yet done my own men's work and initiation to no longer be sourcing my validation and approval from her only, which is what I grew up thinking I needed to do. I got to please her.
Yep.
I got to please her. I got to please her. I got to please her. And what I found myself attracted to were, yes, powerful, strong women, but every single one of them, with some exceptions, I love all of you. You've blessed my life. Thank you. A lot of them were an unwinnable game. By that, what I mean is that it didn't matter what I did. And I co-created that. I own my half of that, my absolute 50% of that. But I was working with an unwinnable game, and I created a scenario where it never mattered what I did, it wasn't enough. I could literally be Michael Bates, men's coach, remasculation podcast holder, sacred union thing, all these things that I've, beautifully, I would say, channeled my wound into, but finding myself in relationships where I co-created the experience of not being enough, not being enough, not being enough, not being enough. So for the men and women out there listening to this, how can we start to reverse this trend? How can we start to celebrate our men? And that doesn't mean ignoring the bad things. That's not what I'm saying. But just how can we start with the positive? It's like basic child psychology here, right? Like, how about, wow, I love it when you do this for me. Thank you for the bridges and the roads and our ability to have this conversation right now without roving bands of marauders kicking down the door and kidnapping her, because there are men out there with guns right now protecting our ability to have this conversation in the first place.
Yes. That's the $1 million question. How can we do something about it? I think there is so much that I'm learning in this, because if I were to think that it was just about the trash, I would be very, very disillusioned.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning through my beautiful wife's words of affirmation is when she can notice the little things that I do that make her so freaking happy. I mean, it's so natural for her to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very grateful that I'm not having to bring these themes up, because she makes it very known when I get her an extra kombucha or I do take out the trash.
Where did she learn these things? How did she come to this rarefied ability to? And I get that it seems redundant. I really get that. I'm not knocking on women here at all. She
knows the value.
Yeah.
She knows the value of the little things. They're so important to her.
How do you think she came to that understanding?
I think she was born this way, honestly. Her mom is the exact same way.
You just hit the jackpot? You just found the one that
I really believe that. That's what I've been saying ever since I met her, was I feel like I won the lottery. Because it's those little words of affirmations, especially for me.
She's right there, by the way, isn't she? She's like right there. Like we're both looking at her right now. What's her name again? What's her name?
Aline Fondran.
Give her a little shout out over there. In her
waving
pink,
her hand like the queen.
Wearing her pink shirt. That's great. Nailed it.
And she's training my nervous system with these little words of affirmation. Each time she's like, oh my God, thank you. And it's not this fakeness. Like, it really, really it shows me how important it is, because I can know what I'm supposed to do all day long. I can do the thing all day long. But if I'm not creating a reward system in my nervous system, it's just going to be a thought. It's going to be another logistical process to do in order to have an outcome. And each time I get a little word of affirmation, or I do something before she sees it, I now have this practice, and it's been so helpful. My mentor does it herself. She rubs her belly and she says, good job, me. And it's so silly and it's so powerful because I'm now creating like the link between my nervous system and the action. And now my reward system is like, oh, she's going to love it when I do this. And then that gives me more motivation to not have to think about it because there's still times where I'm like, oh, like I didn't prioritize that. And then of course she'll see it before I do. If I don't feel into the importance that it serves us.
What are you doing to reciprocate if she's giving you these nuggets of affirmation and these nuggets of honoring and acknowledging?
To reciprocate, it's more of the things that she loves. I have a long way to go. I'm not completely unconscious about these behaviors yet, you know? Giving has been a huge learning curve for me. Taking has been the subconscious story in the past where my nervous system actually feels more safe.
Is it a woman's job to provide safety for a man?
There's a part of me that says no. The intelligence in me says no. But I don't think we can do it alone.
I agree with both of those statements. I think it's a no, and we can't do it alone. But it's not our job as men to do it with women. It's our job to do it with our brothers. Yeah. This is a piece I've been riffing on lately. I had a beautiful go round on Facebook with someone who'd written a piece about this and men helping women be safe. What about the men? Why I want to be safe? I want the women to help me be safe. And I kind of had a moment because I think, yeah, there's a sense that, well, sure, why not? But it's not her job to help me be safe. It's my job to help me be safe, to let me be safe. And if I outsource that to her or even to others, it's like that's robbing me of my masculine rite of passage into the existential annihilation of no one is coming to save me. It's me here. And I need to sit with that and sit alone with that and drown in that until I'm able to pick myself up off the ground and walk forward. And we have a way of doing that with other men, obviously in the King's Code and in masculine initiation rites and the rites of passage that we've lost largely in our culture. So yeah, I think we as men are looking to our women to keep us safe because when we're boys, that's actually correct. And so I think it's indicative of us, if as grown men, we're looking to women to make us safe, it's indicative that we're still in our boy psychology, that we're still looking for mommy to protect us in that way. And again, when we're young boys, that's correct. She does do that. Right. She does. I mean, there's no fiercer, honestly, I don't think there's ironically, a more masculine feminine archetype than mother, that ferocious lioness that will annihilate you. It's like, you don't want to fuck with that. But it's like, yeah, this idea is men, right? I think you're really onto something here because it's every man needs to go and spend time alone and to come to, I truly believe that every culture I've ever studied has some version of that where, the Spartans had the agoge where you go off. You train and then you go off alone into the woods with a spear. And if you come back after a certain amount of time, you're made it. And there's something about that. There's something about courting death. There's something about going out and contending with the memento mori, the inevitability of your own demise. If the feminine rules life, the masculine rules death. And so the necessity of us coming into that encounter, but then also learning to meet that with your boys. Because it's like divide and conquer is the oldest military technique in the book, right? So it's like we can be picked off, us in our siloed houses alone, drowning in existential nihilistic dread and depression that comes from self-fixation. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? The navel-gazing personal development of the last 60 years, which has been necessary. And now the communal development, the tribal development, the rites of passage returning, and being able to court death with my brothers. And we are, the two of us, much harder to fuck with than one of us.
Yes.
3 of us, 4 of us, 10 of us, 33 of us. And to be stepping into the act of brotherhood, the action, the quest for what it means to actually create intimacy with other men. And I don't mean romantic. I mean, that can be there, but the intimacy of knowing another man and him knowing you, where it's like you trusting me enough to leave me with your woman for the weekend while you go off and do what you need to do, knowing that I'm going to be holding your back no matter what. You and I starting a business together because it's like, I know this guy's, and there's no way he's going to run off with the money. And if he did, there'd be 31 other dudes that'd be like, yo, what the fuck? It's like the checks and balances that come from that intact brotherhood that then relieves our sisters of having to do the work of mom and therapist that we turn them into inadvertently when we bring them our problems first. And it's not that we can't bring them our problems, but it's like it's a big difference when we're like, I don't know what to do. I bonked my head on the swing set. Mommy, help me fix it. It's like, no, I'm going through some shit. She can feel it because she's my woman. She feels me. I can't hide it. Suppressing it doesn't hide it. It just makes it worse. But I take it to you, Ulrich. I'm struggling with this thing, man. I take it to my mentor. I take it to my coaches. I take it to my tribe. We get underneath it. Maybe we solve it. Maybe it's just the next piece. I go home and I'm like, yeah, babe, I know you're feeling me on something. Yeah, I'm getting worked. But just so you know, Ulrich's on it and the team is on it. And from here, I would love to feel if you have like a transmission from me, from the oracle, from the feminine, from my woman, not mom, not therapist. Yeah, like you're my woman. Weigh in. What do you got? But then it's my responsibility to take in and choose if I'm going to take what she says. Because if she tells me something to do and then I go do it, it's not the thing. And then I want to blame her for it. Yeah. How's this land for you?
You're speaking right into me. What's coming up for me right now is I've had a lot of confusion around how to balance coming to my wife and ask her for her oracleness and her eyes that see the things that I don't see, and relying on that because I trust that so much. What is alive for me right now that I had a conversation about yesterday was when I find myself confused, and this kind of zooms us out into the macro. When I find myself confused, that should be an alarm or whatever that I'm not present right now. And when I outsource my power to my wife or to my brothers or to whoever, I notice there is confusion. And I find myself now, after this conversation yesterday, in a state very, very often where I'm not present. And what makes it so clear for me, just in this conversation that I had about this, is what's more simple than the present moment? What is more simple than right now? Is all of this teaching like needing to change and needing to fix? I have things wrong. There's something that I need to do differently, distracting us from presence and the certainty of loving exactly what is. Because I'm confused about outsourcing my power to the outside God versus the inner God in me. It's confusing. How can I learn to trust myself and also let it all go to the outside God? That's the $1 million question that I'm at.
It's a simple answer.
Okay.
Do both at the same time.
How, Michael? What does this look like? It seems, of course, it's a paradox, but it also seems fundamentally like two different ways to live. I can surrender everything to God and not trust anything that I do. Or, it seems like an or, trust the inner God in me fully.
Yeah. Try both. Go all the way in one direction and try it. I devoted about a decade of my life to nihilism and depression and turning away from the traditions that I grew up with. I hadn't planned on it being that long, but when something gets you, it gets you. And I lived my life as though, God didn't exist. Everything's the same. Nothing matters. Postmodernism 101. Didn't produce the best life. Whether that's true or not, it didn't produce the best life. What did produce the best life was living as if God is real, getting still and quiet within myself and developing a relationship with something greater than me, beyond what I thought I had developed. The process that a number of our brothers are in, going through initiation, going through rites of passage, going through a 12-step program that I'm still involved in. The work of, annihilating yourself. I get it. It's like, it's a simple answer and it's not easy. The two seemingly opposite extremes.
Yeah, because it seems like the medicine for me right now is in trusting myself. I feel like it's very easy to surrender completely, at least the way that I understand what that means.
Are they mutually exclusive?
It feels like it right now, at least. I'm not committed to that, but it feels fundamentally like two different ways to live. I haven't seen both.
Yeah.
I've seen the one that surrenders himself completely, and I've seen the one that trusts himself completely. Where's that?
To me, I think they can be one and the same. Trusting yourself and surrendering. It's like, I think I know what you're saying. It's like, for me, the more I've stepped into a place of trusting a will greater than my own and surrendering the version of the world that I think should exist, that I think would be best, that my thinking small I wants to exist, the more I've surrendered that to a will greater than my own, while still having a will. It's like the idea behind thy will be done. It doesn't mean that I just become a mindless automaton and just float in the ether.
Right. It feels like kind of like cult mindset versus like trusting yourself.
It's the idea of meeting God halfway.
Yeah.
Or something greater than yourself. And the more I've dove into this work and the more I've actually worked the work and let the work me, it reveals a way of being that, thank God, feels unavoidable at this point. Like when the degree to which I feel well used at the end of the day, when I have helped others, when I have taken the attention off of myself and put it on someone else and given them the full, both barrels of my presence and my attention that I've worked my life to develop and hone and be able to center on one single thing while also holding another person over there in pink and the four corners of the room and my own heartbeat, but be here in devotion, full presence on you. Something else shows up. Something else has shown up in my life. Something else continues to support me. The more I live in accordance with the law, and by that I mean to say what I understand as the web of life, the circle of life, just to keep it not too serious here. But seriously, like there, it seems to me that there is a way of living that's slightly different for everyone because everyone has their own individual experience, but that there is a way that generally feels better, produces more goodness.
Yeah.
There's more love.
Yeah.
There's more joy. There's more abundance. There's more of all of the things that are good. And there is a place to get to. And there will always, Ulrich, always still be work to do.
Yes. It's
both
never
of
a
those are
destination.
true, but one of them by themselves is only ever half true and can only ever be half true as far as I see it. So it's like, as I conceive of it, it's like the masculine in me that wants to know, that wants to have the code, that wants to know how to do the thing so that I can win the game and so I can get out of here. Makes me think of, what is it, the agent from The Matrix.
Yeah.
I must get out. I must get out of here.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like that. I've totally lost my train of thought now because of The Matrix. I love it. And that is the train of thought. It's like the seemingly opposite extremes. It's like living your life in a way where you can modulate between the two things because your antenna are attuned. You can actually feel, it's more trust, or more this is the place to get to, or it's more there's always work to be done. There's the direct path, the linear, the X plus Y equals Z. Or there's the non-linear, there's the feminine, there's the X minus Z equals question mark. It's like, or fuck you, whatever it is, right? At what point is each of those medicine and at what point is each of those poison? It's going to change, and it depends on the person, it depends on the circumstances.
Sure.
So what it seems to me we're here to do is to become fluent in humanity, to become fluent in how people are generally, and then how I am specifically, how you are specifically, honoring each individual with their specificity while also knowing that there are trends, there are generalities, and we can learn each other. Like, how many of us are fluent in men? Whether you're in a male body or not, like how many of us would actually say, I'm fluent in men, I understand men. Not that I have an understanding of men, but that I actually have gone out of my way to learn them, to listen to them, to understand the way they work generally. And then have developed relationships with them specifically to learn the nuances and the subtleties and the differences. And women also. How many of us are fluent in the feminine? How many of us are fluent in women and can make the distinction between the feminine and women? And what are the qualities of feminine energy versus masculine energy, and how do they show up in different bodies?
What I'm hearing is you speak from this place, and you've spoken to this before. What is this place that we're supposed to get to? What does that look like practically or abstractly? I'm curious. You always touch on it. I've never heard you really go there, so I want to challenge you to expand upon this. This is a very curious place. And do you see yourself there? And are you there? Yeah.
It's a tough thing because there's an aspect of like, if you're talking about the Tao, it's not the Tao.
Right.
And there is a place to get to. And there's a place generally to get to. And there's a place that only Ulrich can get to. That is your place. That is your right relationship. That is your throne. That is your kingship. That is your elevated, escalated essence of who you came here to be in your fullness. And you're a human and you're a god. And you have an animal body that wants to fuck and rut and piss and do all these things. And you have an ethereal, spiritual aspect of yourself. And we're both of those at the same time. Right. But there is a place to get to. And it's funny because I only half believe that until I got to where I got to really a few months ago. Like something changed, something happened for me. This is the first time I've really talked about it, at least in a public sense. But something arrived for me. And as much as I tried to refute it, it was irrefutable. There is no argument with it. Is it the place? Am I finished and an enlightened being? No, I'm not. And compared to the man I was and has been, oh baby, there's a difference. There's more of me here. I spend more time in presence and awareness and awakeness every day than I ever have. And it's not going away. And so there is something that has landed. And I think it's what we're talking about here with the rites of passage, with the initiation. In every culture that we've ever studied in humanity, the adolescent boys were taken by the men away from mother's house, out into the cold and the dark, away from the warmth and the hearth and the protection of mommy, out to become men. And each culture did that differently in the specificity, but the generality of it is universal. And it's so amazing that that's true. There's a way that human males male, and there's uniqueness to it. And none of us got that when we were supposed to get it. And we all used to get that as teenagers, hundreds, thousands of years ago. And so we became sovereign men of the tribe as teenagers. And the women would become sovereign women of the tribe, going through their rites, going through their menses, going through the biological initiation that happens to them inside of their bodies, just like they have sex inside of their bodies. And ours is external on the surface of our bodies, out in the world.
Did you go to the forest? Did you get put out in the cold? And did you find what you needed to find? What landed? There's something there I would love to know if you're comfortable sharing, because I know it's an intimate part of your experience.
Yeah,
what cannot be undone?
I'm still figuring that out, Ulrich. Like it's still talking to me, like it's still unfolding. And I don't know if maybe it's the age that I'm at, 45, sort of settling into the age of, that's the lion in his prime. I'm still young and fast and strong and moving and running and jumping and doing all these things athletically, and I feel sharp. But I also have decades of experience behind me now. And something's happened where a lot of the wounds that I was carrying and the regrets and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas that I have, I've had enough time between them and now to where the gifts have actually emerged from the wound, to where I can be like, oh my God, thank God that happened. And up until then, it was like, fuck you, God, for that happening. I like to think of it as like the hero myth, or like a movie, right? Like a hero story. It's like the hero's getting his ass kicked for most of the movie. If you turn the movie off, like 3/4 of the way through, you think the hero's dead, he's done, he's a loser, he's not going to make it. And I think a lot of us are looking at our lives that way. And because we don't have the elders, we don't have the teaching stories, we have some, they're there, but we don't have them in the way that we've needed them. I didn't have them in the way I needed them, to encourage and pull us along and give us the clues of like, yeah, come on, we got you, go. And we're going to frame this. To go through an initiation, you need a sacred space and a ritual elder or elders. That's the technicality of it. And we've lost a lot of that. So we have grown men wandering through the world that are in their boy psychology, as we talk about.
What have you lost, Michael? You have made room for this person you are right now. You've lost something.
A big part of it is the part of me that needed to get somewhere, that's been pushing and driving and grinding me incessantly into dust, that has ground my nervous system into a almost constant state of low-grade fight or flight activation, that gave me sleep apnea, that gave me mold poisoning, that gave me a litany of illnesses trying to slow me down. And our culture right now is flying, and we are all in cortisol nonstop all day long. we're becoming infertile. We're becoming like our hormones are screwed. Our diets are screwed. Our guts are screwed because we're being driven. Our culture is driving us. And I was driven. And there's something that's happened where the thing that I've lost is in a way, it's like the unhealthy aspect of that drive. And there's a part of me now that's allowing myself to be enough as I am and still pushing for more. So I think in the language we've been talking about, it's like I'm holding both sides of the lightning more. And I've like learned how to be able to do that instead of it's this one or it's this one, it's this one, it's this one. Men are the problem, women are the problem. You know, the culture, it's you, it's Democrats, it's Republicans, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. It's like, whoa, it's like, what if both are true and both have a brilliance and both have a shadow? And can I hold on long enough to learn their teaching and be able to just be in my life and know I'm going to make mistakes? But know that it's okay if I make a mistake. And what makes me a good man, as I see it, is what I do when I make a mistake.
So what's motivating you to move forward then? If you are enough, what is the motivation?
I think that's the thing a lot of people are afraid of. If I'm not driving the ship, who's driving it?
Yeah.
Something else is driving it now, brother. I don't want to be trite about it. It feels almost silly to quote, but like there is a peace that passeth all understanding that I'm experiencing that's just blowing me away. And I always have had a deep spiritual connection my whole life. And what's happening now makes me feel like I never had one in comparison, because there's just something else that's driving. And I've had moments I'm like, what is driving? Who is this? Is this good? Should I do this? But it's like, again, like, well, can I meet God halfway? Can I meet my higher power halfway? Can I meet whatever this is? If you're an atheist, science. Can you meet science halfway, right? It's like everybody has a God and everybody worships and everybody's worshiping something, whether they know it or not. And everyone has a devil. And it's not a pointy-eared red guy in the ground. It's the thing in you that is trying to end you and make you believe that you're nothing. And I had that. And I still have that. And we talk from time to time. But yeah, there's something that has changed.
And what's keeping you from going backwards?
My brothers, my people, and the strength of my mission, like why I'm actually here, my purpose that took me a lifetime to uncover and then to burn in and be excoriated by and be in the crucible of. And it's a big mission and it's worth it. And it's worth it because we're all on the altar of sacrifice, whether we like it or not. Might as well make it conscious. We're all going to die. Only death is promised. And if I can learn how to die before I die, then when I die, it's a whole other story. An pethanis, prin pethanis, denta pethanis, otan pethanis. And so that is exciting.
What was that? What was that?
That's ancient Greek. That's a very old idea of what I just shared. If you die before you die, when you die, you will not die. You don't die when you die. Slight variations in the translation. But it's, I think what my born again Christian brothers and sisters are missing is that the invitation is actually to die to yourself in this life, not to die and be born again in heaven, but the symbol of that, to die and be born again in heaven. Heaven is a state. It's a place within you. The first thing my first coach ever asked me was, what's your definition of heaven on earth? What I came up with after like hours of like, well,
yeah,
was for me, it was the merging of my purpose and my income.
Yeah.
And actually having my purpose be what fuels me in the world. Yeah. And so I don't have a job. I am unemployed and I am employed in a way that is beyond what I could have ever imagined. People give me money to give them my presence. The thing that I've been honing and sharpening all my life and wondering, what the heck am I doing? Shouldn't I be like an investment banker or something? And not to knock investment bankers, right? But like there's something that I get to do every day, which is have a conversation with you on a Friday afternoon. This is my job. This is my gig. I get to talk about this. And it makes all the suffering and horror that I went through fucking worth it. It's so worth it, man. So to any of you who are listening, keep going. Keep going. You cannot see around corners, and every hero story waits till the end for the hero to break through. Stay the course.
Why?
Because you matter. Because you actually matter. There's something Ulrich is here to do that I can't do, that she can't do. Every one of you listening to this, there's something you are here to do, and it is beyond you. Thus, it is terrifying. If it's not, you're not aiming high enough. And trying to do that alone is terrifying and almost impossible, which tells me that the technology of humanity is a communal technology. We are designed to do this together because alone we die. And the lone wolf has been romanticized, but it is. The lone wolf subsists on squirrels and rabbits, man, and you can do it, but you ain't never going to take down a caribou. You ain't never really going to eat until you eat with your brothers. When you come home to men, and you come home to women, and we come home to each other. So, and I can't do that alone, Ulrich. I can't do that alone. I need you.
I need you.
I know. And you need me at my highest iteration.
Yeah.
Which isn't to pressure me or to pressure you. You got to be better. You got to get that thing, which is what I did to myself. The spiritual trap I put myself in my early days with Yogananda's work and Buddhism and all these things. Oh, I've got to be the thing. I'm feeling anger. I need to meditate that away. Instead of feel it, it's like, fuck. Oh, brother. To go back and put my hand on his shoulder and be like, thank you for missing that. Because now I get to be a transmission of that. And that's what we all get to do and be here. To the degree we're bold enough and brave enough to throw ourselves off that cliff. And we shouldn't do it alone. It is dangerous. It's dangerous to go through a dark night of the soul alone. But in the dark night of the soul, bright flows the river of God, said San Juan de la Cruz.
I'm grateful to have you in my studio. Truly.
Grateful to be in this work of art that you've put together here, this conduit, this portal that you're opening up for people to be able to speak their truth.
That was the intention, was to make a sanctuary, not just a studio that people can come and use and press a button and get what they need. I want people to come here and enjoy the process and be able to cry, scream, laugh, whatever the hell they need to do here. It feels important to give people like yourself and other mission-driven leaders in the community an opportunity.
Why?
I feel responsible with the gifts that I have with videos and films to not let those things that I can do with my eyes closed stop people from, like yourself, from getting lost in the technical stuff.
Like I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spirit told me to start a podcast in 2016, and I was an actor in New York, and I knew what, why don't I do like a set? Why don't I do like something like this? And it was just so big, and I got so intimidated thinking about it, and I hadn't yet learned how to ask for help. I'm an actor in New York. All of my friends are front of camera, back of camera, it was all around me. And I think that is, if I can give a final thing, it's like, in my experience, I think this is probably the case for most people. The solution to the problem you're having is in the people all around you. The answer is in the people that are around you and the people you're finding yourself meeting on the street or that barista at Starbucks. But if you're so busy worrying about yourself or XYZ, you're not available for the technology of tribe. You're not available for it. The wisdom and the brilliance with which Spirit, as it seems to me, just works its magic through people.
You have to trust yourself to surrender to the unknown.
Which is terrifying. Necessarily. It should be. There's nothing wrong with that. It should be. It should scare the shit out of you. How do you build power? How do you release what's holding you down? The rocks in your backpack that you're inadvertently carrying. Anyway.
You're a scholar and a saint.
I don't know if either of those are true, but they...
in my eyes.
Well, thanks, man.
I appreciate your presence.
I appreciate yours.
Thanks for coming through, man.
An honor to be here. Thanks to everyone for listening. And anything that stood out to you or struck out to you about this, reach out. Really want to be in this conversation and want to be accessible for us because this is our technology. It belongs to every single one of us that calls themselves humans and maybe even those that don't. So, blessed to be here, brother. Thank you.